What books can you expect to see on the channel this month? We're going to answer that question right now. If you're unaware, one of the things I do on this channel is that I test out the first chapter of a book to decide whether I want to read it or not, and I'll do a video on that. Lately I've started doing them as lives, and in May I'm going to be doing a live every single Wednesday. Well, that's the plan anyway. The lives are fun whether you read the first chapter or not, and you can even have read the whole book and just laugh at whatever weird things I think about the book based on only one chapter. By the way, I'm going to be putting dates and links to their first chapter in the description below. The first one will be May 4th, and in that one we're going to check out Kings of the Wyld. What specifically really got me interested in it was a video that a couple from a couple books did, and he actually gave me the book, so it's time to check it out. One of the things I've heard about this book that it has a lot of, I think, 80s music references, so it should be fun. We are just gonna have to see though whether I'm into it or not. The next book I'm gonna be checking out is The Bladed Faith. It just came out in April, so I'm guessing that you probably haven't read it, so this will be a good time to check out to see if you would be interested in it or not. We will be checking it out on the channel Wednesday, May 11th. So in case you haven't heard much about The Bladed Faith, I wanted to read the blurb for this one. An usurped prince prepares to take up the mantle of a deadly assassin and reclaim his kingdom, his people, and his slain gods. Cyrus was only 12 years old when his gods were slain, his country invaded, and his parents, the king and queen, beheaded in front of him. Held prisoner in the invaders' court for years, Cyrus is suddenly given a chance to escape and claim his revenge when a mysterious group of revolutionaries comes looking for a figurehead. They need a hero to strike fear into the hearts of the imperial and to inspire and unite the people. They need someone to take up the skull mask and swords and... I just said swords. They need someone to take up the skull mask and swords and to become the legendary vagrant, an unparalleled hero and assassin of otherworldly skill. But all is not as it seems. Creating the illusion of a hero is the work of many, and Cyrus will soon discover the true price of his vengeance. This one sounds really fun to me, and I'm looking forward to checking it out on May 11th. Next up on May 18th, we're going to be checking out Pride and Prejudice and Zombie. I just get a little giddy about the idea of this book and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer as well, and so hopefully it just is the crazy, ridiculous masterpiece that I expect it to be, but maybe my expectations are too high actually. We'll see. The last knockout for the month is, drumroll, Way of Kings. I've been wanting to get into Stormlight Archive for so long. You guys know that I love Brandon Sanderson, but I haven't read so many of his books, so it is time to jump into Stormlight. Hopefully it's not overhyped. I am a little worried because I'm excited about all of these books this month. I don't want to overhype it, and it's probably happening. That is going to be May 25th. I hope you guys are able to come to the lives and check them out and just have some fun in the chat and throw your emojis at me or whatever. Next up is currently reading. I'm in the middle of Baptism of Fire, the 5th Witcher book. Assuming I finish it, you can expect a video on that coming up this month. A couple other videos you can expect this month will be a video on the first Red Rising book, Red Rising. I finished it and really excited to talk about it with you guys. And the other one is the first Dresden Files book, Stormfront. If you guys caught the live that I did on the first chapter of Stormfront, I wasn't totally sold on it, so but I did end up reading it, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about my journey with the first Dresden Files book. Finally, I've got a handful of new books that have kind of come on my radar this month. I probably won't get around to them, but they're on my mind, and I'm throwing them on my TBR to check out sometime. The first one is Chaos Walking. I watched the movie and I actually really liked it. I think it might be YA, so I'm a little nervous about that because sometimes YA just drives me insane. But I enjoyed the movie a lot, so I want to check it out. The next one is Dune. Some of this comes from wanting to read the book before I watch the movie, and I want to watch the movie. And also with a lot of my Wheel of Time videos, a lot of people talked about how Robert Jordan took inspiration from Dune. And both of those things have just kind of brought Dune a little bit more into my radar, and so I'm adding it to my TBR. This next one I heard of after reading Monster Hunter International, which I did a video on that this last month. You can check that out. But this one's called Kaiju Preservation Society. I've heard that has a similar vibe to Monster Hunter International, so I am adding it to the list because I think eventually I will want to check it out. Next up we have Ninth House. I saw recently that the second book in this series is going to be coming out, and I didn't even realize that it was a second book in this series. I just saw the cover. I know a lot of people have been talking about Ninth House, but I really still don't know anything about it. But the cover of the second book looked really sick to me, so I just added Ninth House to my list. I'll probably be checking it out sometime in the future. The last two are kind of similar, where I've heard a lot of people talking about it, but for some reason just it hasn't ended up on my TBR. I'm not totally convinced that I'm gonna be super interested in these, but they are just kind of back on my radar, so I decided to add them and eventually check out. So the first one is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I hate the cover that has like the weird hobbit looking guy. It doesn't look like an assassin to me, and so I'm just like, this book is weird. But the newer covers that have, it kind of looks like a deer, like it's right here. The newer cover looks really cool, and I'm one of those guys that judges a book by its cover. I mean, who doesn't? But I admit to it, so I want to check this book out mainly because I like the new cover. Finally, another one that just kind of popped back up on my radar is the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. Again, I don't really know anything about this book, but people talk about him, so it's on my radar, and so it's going on the TBR to eventually check out. Let me know, guys, in the comments what is on your TBR radar this month. If you have read any of the books that I talked about, I would love to hear what you guys think about them, especially those ones that I'm just like, I don't know anything about them. Is it worth my time? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support, and I will catch you guys in the next adventure.